Well, hey there, kiddos. What's happening? How you doing? What's going on, y'all? My name is Spice, and that's Maui and Otis, and today we're going to be going over my kayak setup. So if y'all been around the channel for any period of time, you guys have probably seen a video or two on this thing. This is my kayak. I don't use it near enough as much as I probably should, but I plan on getting out on it a lot more this coming year. And since I'm planning on using it a whole lot more, I figured I'd show you guys through it and show you what I did. Now, obviously, looking at this kayak, it did not come like this. It actually just came with this kayak and a little seat on it. Not that seat, but the seat behind it. And I bought it just because it was an open top kayak as opposed to one of those ones that you had to sit in, so it gave me a little bit more flexibility when it came to fishing. But it's not actually a fishing kayak, it's really just a sit on top kayak. For those of you guys who are wondering, this is the Lifetime Tahoma 100, so it's a 10-foot long kayak. It's the Lifetime brand, which I guess is probably considered the Walmart brand of kayaks. And I love this thing. It's really not the best kayak for fishing. It's not the best for standing. It's not the best for a lot of things. It's pretty slow and it doesn't track super well in the water, but I love it and it works really well for me. And obviously, like I said, it's just a sit on top kayak, so I actually had to make it into a fishing kayak. So I'm gonna take you guys through all the modifications and everything that I did to it. Before we get any further into the video, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys clicking on it. If you do end up liking the video, do me a favor, go down below, hit that like button for me. Lets me know that you guys like the content and it also helps more people see these videos. On top of that, if you guys want to see some more content from me, please go down below and hit that subscribe button as well. I put up 2 new videos every single week, once on Monday and once on Friday. So if y'all are looking for some more content like unboxings, bank fishing, and obviously kayak fishing, then go down below and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Alright, so I'll just give you guys a quick little walk around to the kayak. Again, it's the Tahoma, it's a 10-foot kayak, so not the biggest, not the smallest, just works out really, really well for me, just because it fits in my car really easily and I can just take it in and out relatively easily as well. I believe this boat fully unloaded weighs like between 50 and 60 pounds, so it's really not very heavy. I can pick it up relatively easily, but there are obviously a lot of things on here, so it makes a little bit more sense to have that roller cart, which we'll get to in a minute. But starting off at the front of the boat, as y'all can see, this thing comes with a little bungee system here. I like to take my paddle and stick it in there. And if you guys can see, it also has a little second bungee in here to hold the paddle in there. Just holds it nice and securely in place if I'm not using it, just standing up or sitting around and fishing. Also underneath here, y'all can definitely see, but I got a few stickers. These are the homies. We got North Fork Fishing. He does a whole bunch of, actually I'll show you. So North Fork Fishing is my buddy. He actually lives in, I think, Ohio, and he just does some really sweet custom paints. So he actually painted this bait up for me, as well as a couple other ones that I have, but this one's definitely my favorite, just like a little Gantarelle copycat thing, but looks super, super sick. Expect to be seeing a video on this in the springtime once they start munching on some bigger swim baits. But yeah, that's North Fork Fishing. I'll leave his Instagram link down in the description. Actually, I'll leave all of these people's information down in the description in case you guys want to go check him out. He does some really sweet little custom paints and stuff, so I would definitely suggest going and looking at his stuff. I'll leave his Instagram as well as his YouTube down below. Then we also got the homie Delirious. I'll leave his Instagram down below. We got Megan Long, Largemouth Sass. I'll leave her Instagram and YouTube down below. And Swamp Rat Fishing, my buddy Alex from New Jersey. I will also leave his information down below. Actually, if you guys don't follow him, go down below and follow him. He actually recently did a kayak walkthrough of his kayak, which is quite a bit more badass and sweet than mine. I didn't necessarily take this video from him. I actually was thinking about doing this video way back in the beginning of the winter, but I'm lazy, so I left it until now. But once I saw his video, I was like, well, I guess I may as well put mine up now too. So shout out to you, Alex. I really appreciate you pushing me and making me do this. So yeah, big shout out to you, Alex. Again, I'm not copying you, but you definitely did it first, dude. Anyway, coming on down to the side of the kayak over here, you guys might notice there is a ruler here. This ruler I actually super glued on here. This is not going anywhere, and this is really just a ruler in case I catch a longer fish and I want to just measure how long it is. I'm actually going to take a Sharpie or maybe a couple of pieces of tape or something and mark off that 19-inch mark, because that 19 inches is actually a Colorado Largemouth Master Angler Award, which is the goal that we're shooting for this year. I caught one last year, didn't get it registered, but we're going to do it this year. We're going to get it registered, and we're going to be a Master Angler in 2021. All right, a little bit further down over here, we got this little hatch thing. Usually I'll just take like bags or stuff like that. Snacks, sometimes I'll put them in here. Right now I just have my anchor in there. If you guys have a kayak and you don't want to go out and spend $700 on some power poles, just go out and buy a $5 anchor from Walmart and some rope, and that'll do you just fine. And that's what I do. It's really not feasible to put power poles on this thing anyway, so it's not really an option. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. But just if you guys don't want to go out and splurge all that extra money on just some shallow water anchors, a regular anchor works just as well, believe it or not. Anyway, getting back to the boat, over here we got a seat. This is where I sit, believe it or not. If you guys can see, there's actually the normal seat back here. I usually just take this seat and unfold it and sit right here. It's a lot more comfortable, a little bit better on your back, has a little bit better back support, and I don't know, I just really like it. If you guys are looking for a seat like this for your kayak or something, this is actually a pedestal seat from a boat, I think, but they sell these at Walmart for like 30 bucks, so I just bought one, and I don't know, it works out relatively well. It actually doesn't really lock in there, but it just pretty much perfectly sits in between this little bit and this little bit, so it doesn't really move around or anything, and it's been working really well for me. Now getting into the back of the kayak, which is where all the fun stuff is, we actually have this thing. This is a Kayak Cart. If you guys actually have a kayak and you don't want to carry it, I would definitely suggest looking into getting one of these. They're sweet, they help me out. This one in particular isn't the best. I might upgrade to a different one at some point, but if you guys can just get a Kayak Cart, I think I bought this one on Scheels, but they have them all over the place. Just find one that works for your boat and figure out how to put your boat on there securely so you don't drop it on the ground and, you know, throw all your rods and tackle all over. I've done that way too many times, so just make sure you get a decent one. And this is not strapped in or anything, it's literally just sitting here behind the seat, but just when I'm sitting on the kayak or something, I can push this seat back, and this little bar acts A, as a little bit of extra back support, but B, will also hold this thing in place, so this thing doesn't really have any chance of falling off. Plus also the way that I have it situated, the wheels are on either side of the seat, so the seat actually has to come out for these to, you know, fall over one side or the other. You can pick it up off the top, but you can't pull it from side to side, so it's relatively secure in there. Not the best thing, obviously, but it works. Again, that's kind of the whole mantra of this boat, is it's not the best, but it works. I'm just trying to make it work. This boat was, I think, 250 bucks when I first bought it, so I'm really not trying to put a whole bunch of money into it. I'm just trying to make it relatively inexpensive, a good, you know, starter boat for any of you guys. Obviously, at some point, I'd like to upgrade to something a little bit more stable and a little bit better, but for right now, this is working out just fine for me. Anyway, back to the back. This is actually something new that I just added recently. This is a fish finder holder, and if you take this thing, which is a fish finder, this is the Humminbird Fishin' Buddy Max, you can take that, slide it in that little cup holder looking doohickey, and it just sits right there. Transducers down here. Obviously, this is tilted up a little bit. If I was normally fishing with it, I would turn this little knob here and turn it down so it actually sits perpendicular in the water, but for right now, for storage purposes, it's a little bit skewed, so that's not on the ground or something like that. I actually had this thing for a really long time. I just couldn't really figure out how to fit it on the boat. This thing right here is actually how you're supposed to attach it. There's like this little clamp way down here, but this clamp for some reason is like just a little bit too small to fit around this here, so I couldn't actually attach it to any of the sides of the boats anywhere. So I just attached it a little bit behind my seat. It's a little bit annoying, but if you're sitting in the seat, it's not the worst thing in the world to just turn around a little bit and look at your screen, and it's relatively manageable. Then coming on down to this side of the boat, I actually have a whole bunch of stickers over here just for some decals or whatever, just because, you know, all those sponsored guys, they got all the stickers and everything, so I'm just trying to make sure everybody knows that I'm sponsored. And then coming back here, this is actually where the fun bit happens. This is my Kayak Cart. I actually made this out of a milk crate. As you can see, it's just one of those plastic milk crates you can buy from Walmart for like 10 bucks. Not too bad, not too good, but again, just works for me. Attached to the front of this milk crate, I actually have this bag. This is just a little tote bag. It's just attached through that little handle so it doesn't go off the side of the boat. Well, I guess that would technically be in the water, but there isn't really anything in there that I would be too worried about going in the water anyway. It's just like some tools and some scent and stuff like that. But I just keep that either back here behind my seat or in this little thing, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of like sits back there. Again, when you're leaning on it, it all just kind of stays together. I also keep a speaker on here just in case I want to bump some tunes while I'm out in the water, because I'm cool like that. On the other side of this, I also have one of these, which, if you guys don't know what this is, I don't exactly remember the name, but I'll leave it linked down in the description in case you guys want to check it out. But it's like a little phone holder. Here, I'm gonna put my phone in it and I'll show you. So yeah, it's attached to my milk crate again by this little tiny bungee. Goes all the way down here, and then this kind of wraps around your phone, holds it on all four corners. So in case I drop my phone or something, it doesn't go falling in the water. I actually had that happen to me earlier this year. I dropped my phone in the water while I was out fishing, and I never got it back, so I got one of those little leash things to make sure I don't drop my $500 phone in the water and lose another one. If you guys want to see that video, I'll actually leave that link down in the description for y'all as well. It was a really good day of kayak fishing, other than the fact that I dropped my phone in the water. But if you guys want to go check that out, that's actually one of the better videos on my channel. And then coming on down here to the actual milk crate, this is usually how I have it set up. So I think I can fit 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's probably room for another 2 up here. Like 6 or 7 3700 boxes. I don't usually ever have that many. I usually have 3, maybe 4, but it's always good to have extra room and not need it than, you know, be scrambling to try and find places to put your baits. So I usually keep about 5 or 6 in here, absolute max. I also have my little jig box on the side just in case, because you never know. These jig boxes are actually really cool. This is a groove fishing jig box, and they just hold all your jigs in these little channels and slots. Super sweet little design. It doesn't hold together closed super well, but the jigs stay in there, and I really do like that box. It's just a little bit more compact, so I usually have that down on the side. Also got these tie downs for when I have to tie my kayak to the kayak cart, just because I feel like I will always forget these if I don't have them in here, so I just leave them in here just so I never forget them. And then I'll usually just have like a Ziploc bag full of some of the soft plastics I plan on using that day. You know, I don't really think that you need to have one of those Bass Mafia bags or the money bags or whatever people call them. I probably should get one just because I go through a bunch of these bags every year, but these just seem to work for me. So until I run out of all of my old bags that I had once used for fishing stuff, I think I'll probably just use these and then maybe upgrade to something like those money bags or something a little bit more long lasting. And then around the outside of the kayak cart, you can see that I have all these little rod holders. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rod holders on here. I could realistically put another one on this side, but I don't have a reason to. Usually I only carry about 3 to 5 rods on my kayak at one time, just because I don't really like to load myself down with a ton of stuff. Usually I keep the net on this side just because it's relatively easy for me to reach back around my shoulder and grab it in case I need to net a big fish, which almost never happens because I only catch dinks. And then I usually just like run 3 or 4 different combos, usually on this side, and then if I have like 1 or 2 extra ones, they go on this side. But usually the rods go on this side because I cast mostly on my right side, so it just keeps my rods from getting tangled up in my back cast. And then the other new addition this year is this big old piece of PVC pipe with a little bitty GoPro up top. So I actually set this up so this height is actually pretty much perfect for if I'm standing up on the front of the boat, I can get a good second angle. So we're gonna try that out this year. I've never really run 2 cameras. I usually just run the one that's in my hand on my chest, but I figured we have to, so I may as well just try and get a second angle for you guys just to make this a little bit more interesting. And again, this is on just a big old PVC pipe, which actually fits perfectly in these rod holders. I didn't mean to do that. I was actually gonna like zip tie it to this like I have with all the rest of the rod holders, but it actually sets up really well that I can just pull it in and pull it out, which makes it super, super easy for moving around in case you have to, you know, break your kayak down or something like that. And this mount up here, I can also switch the heights on, so in case I'm actually sitting as opposed to standing, I can unscrew these a little bit and then pull this thing down. Come on. There we go. To right about there. It's probably a good height. And then just tighten them back up. And then I can get a good angle from behind me if I'm sitting down as well. Again, if you guys have seen Alex or Swamp Rat Fishing's video on his kayak, he actually has a little bit more of a bougie setup, I'll say, but this is kind of like the janky version, and I'm pretty sure that this will work as well. Oh, also one more thing before we close out the video, I just want to show you guys real fast. I actually keep track of all the fish that I caught in this kayak. So I think right now we're on 60. Again, I don't take this kayak out nearly enough, so we're definitely going to be bringing that number up quite a bit this year. But so far, I think I've caught 60 fish on this kayak total. And I don't think I've fallen in once, so that's a pretty good ratio for me. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention is there's actually a cup holder here as well. I don't really use the cup holder for a cup, as you can tell. It's halfway underneath the seat, but sometimes I'll put like tools in there, or if I'm like switching between 2 or 3 baits, I'll put the other baits down in there. But there's also a little channel right here that you can put baits in as well. So either between that and that's where my daily switch out bait kind of thing goes. But I really hope this was relatively informative for y'all. I tried to make it short and sweet so this video didn't take way too long, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown on the kayak and the situation we're going to be working with this year. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back on the water with this thing. A, because it's been like 5 months since I've caught a fish, I think, and I'm going a little bit crazy. But B, more importantly, I just want to make some really cool kayak content for you guys. So if that's something that you guys want to see, do me a favor, go down below and hit that subscribe button again, as well as leave a like on the video to make sure that I know that you guys like the content. But I think that's going to do it for me, y'all. Check him to wreck him, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.